Hello everybody, today we are talking about morale boost and why you suck at buying it. It is a super common item, but I've seen it misused a lot in the VODs that I do, so I figured I'd talk about it. Like most things in Paladins, this is just starting with the fundamentals and taking them to their logical conclusion. Two important concepts. Mid fights are the most important team fights in the game. If you have ult and the enemy team doesn't, you probably win. From this, we can draw some fairly obvious conclusions. You definitely want to have your ult up for the mid fight, because you want to win the mid fight, and you want to be ulting as often as possible, because you want to be winning as many fights as possible. If we want to be doing both these things, you're ulting twice per round, once in the mid fight, and then once when there's a bit over a minute left in the push. But here's the thing, you don't need morale boost to generate 2 ults per round. So does that mean that morale boost is bad? Of course not, but it's not an item you buy without thinking about some somewhat specific use cases. The first use case has to do with the first mid fight. Remember how if you have ult and the enemy team doesn't, you should win? Well, if you buy morale boost first round, you can often get your ults before the enemy team. You effectively give up items in return for hoping the fight lasts long enough so that you can build your ult and win that way. This is a good idea if your ult builds fast and is teamfight winning, stuff like Ying, Drock, Pip, Khan, and Furia. The second use case is going to be when you want to spam ult, because more ults equals more fight wins. And when I say spam ults, I mean more than twice per round, because remember, you can already ult twice per round without morale boost. So if you want to ult 3 times per round, maybe go into the mid fight with 80 to 90% ult, then morale is good. The last use case is if you don't have ult. There's a really important fight coming up, like a mid fight, and you really want your ult for that. Sometimes you get forced to spend your ults when you don't want to. That's fine, that happens, but you still want to have your ult for that important fight. So if you just had to use your ult on defense so you don't lose the game and there's 40 seconds left and you want to have it up for the mid fight, then morale boost is a fine option. So don't buy morale if you're not buying it for one of the use cases, right? If you're not building ult first in the first mid fight, if you're not spamming your ult more than twice per round, or if you already have ult, then it's not worth it to buy morale boost, just buy something else. Now there's a little bit of an exception that I'm sure all good players are getting mad at me for, and that has to do with the comp scene. In organized play, you don't just manage one ult, you manage 5. And because you manage 5 ults, you can afford to spend ult more often. You don't have to rely on having your ult to carry your team. So buying morale gets your team's ult economy chugging along a bit faster than the enemy team's. And remember, more ults and more fights is more wins. You can also do this if it's a high enough level rank game and your team understands how the ult economy works, which I'll probably make a video about at some point. So, buy morale boost to get ult in the first mid fight, to spam more than 2 ults per round, and to build ult quickly for important fights, but nowhere else, because otherwise you don't need it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.